Hambini fans, and welcome to another episode of Hambini Reams. Today's Sunday Reaming. I don't do these very often. Oh, by Hambini, aged 5. Let's just check that pen is working. It sure is, and it's getting more wild. Christmas is coming. I better just switch my phone off, actually. It'll be the hairdresser. Getting me some new Pantene for my hair. Or should I say just for men. In fact, it's actually Sharpie colour, but we won't go on about that. Right, the disclaimer, read all that. The only thing you really have to worry about is this bit at the bottom. If you have a photo that you want credit for, please get in touch. I've lifted most of them from web forums and the other stuff you can read. Right, the content. First of all, we'll be going through the Nero... I actually did a spelling test wrong there, but anyway. Nero Show, wind tunnel data, we'll have a little bit on that. The Winspace competition, the Scope 3D printed hub failure. I told you this was going to be a fucking disaster, and that was 18 months ago. Another piece of shit. Is Cube German? I've no idea, but they've had a recall. And the last two, manufacturer has replaced a viewer's bike frame after a video on the channel. And the final one, which is just spectacular, the Factor 1, or should we call it the Tractor 1, or the Craptor, or the Fucktor 1, 22% claim, plus other bullshit. Right, let's start off with Jesse and Chris at the Nero Show. So they put 3 bikes into a wind tunnel in South Australia, and then they came up with these results. Now, I've seen these screenshotted over every cycling forum from Northern Europe to Southern Europe, and they all sort of concentrate on the same thing, which is the headline number. So go and buy a Quick Pro and you will be the fastest. That's not actually true. There's a few things in here. I mean, first of all, they did comment on the error. Now, it looks to me like a scientist has done this work, not an engineer, because it's really, and they've emphasized this, but people don't take it away. It is the bike plus the rider. So if you were to take another rider and put him on the same frame, you may get a different result. So the Quick Pro might be up here, the Cervelo might be down here, and the Winspace might be down here. Now, there are a few little caveats to this. And I think the first one I would mention is the rider and the bike are not all exactly the same. They're very small, subtle differences. So if you go back here, you've got like 0.6 watts between that one and that one. I would be extremely surprised. In fact, I would be mortified if you can actually accurately detect that, because I've never managed to do it. So I take a sort of more pragmatic view. And you know, they've got the aero bars on there, and they said 3 SDs would be a definite bike difference. I reckon it's more like 1.5 significant figures. So I'll leave that one with you, but you can actually read that on my website. But going back to this, the riding positions of Chris is not exactly the same. So he's got a slight difference just in head angle between there and there. I mean, you can draw on it if you want, but there's a subtle difference there. And the other thing I noticed is, if you were to consider his position on the bike, right, and there's his hip joint there, and then if you pick a reference like the back wheel, they're all subtly different. There is an interaction between the rider's legs and the rest of the bike frame. So it's not easy to say that it's the bike frame making the difference. It is a combination of the rider and the bike frame doing the difference. I mean, practically, there is very little between all 3 frames. I don't think you're going to get much more than that. Now, interestingly, Reserve, who have a... Actually, let's just view that video. Now, if you watch this video, it is about turbulent aero from Reserve. Now, I'll just fast forward a little bit of it, but it talks about turbulence and it being a better method of testing for aerodynamics in real world conditions. And I'd frankly agree with this, and it's something that I used to do a few years ago. I don't do so much of it now because it takes longer. And to be honest, even when I put that data out, we had people like Josh from, where is he? Shilker, slagging it off. I mean, I could slag it off as well. Slag him off, really. I mean, he uses hair dye, but we won't go into that. We won't go into that. Let's go back to this presentation. You can read the points in there. Let me just flick that over. Right. Winspace. Winspace are running a competition in conjunction with this channel. So you can submit technical questions, drawings, sketches, reamings, cartoons, whatever you like. And some winners will be selected and they will be given a 12-month Patreon membership to my Patreon. So you'll be able to get access to previews of videos, the wheel test results. They are, I would say, fairly comprehensive, but I'm a bit biased. Now, if you watch MapDeck's channel, he's got a video where he criticises it, but seemingly in that video, he said he's never seen or heard of a spoke with 145 kilogram force of tension. And then last week, he had a video where he said it was freaking normal. But anyway, there you go. Right, so you can do that. I mean, I would say a few things first of all. So Winspace are fairly offhandish, so they don't really get involved in reviewing stuff. And to be honest, for me personally, no one really tells me what to do. And if someone wants to tell me what to do, I tell them to fuck off, because it's a review and I have to try and be as unbiased as possible. But other YouTubers, I think, get a bit more hassle because they have a financial requirement. I'm going to replace requirement with interest to fulfill the demands of the bike manufacturers, because ultimately they pay their wages. I don't have that problem. I have other issues like what the hairdresser needs for food and all that kind of stuff. But I have a different job, so I can just use that to pay for whatever I want to. The rest is really there, more of an interest rather than anything else. So you can do that. But yeah, Winspace, pretty offhandish. And then you can see some of this stuff in the Wind Tunnel on Patreon. Right, scope shite. This is the Dutch outfit that is scope. So if you were to have a look at my Eurobike 2024 video, you'll be able to see this on the right hand side, which is a picture I took. And when I took it, I said, this is gonna fucking fail, because whichever numbskull decided to 3D print this, and on their booth they were going on about some fucking university in Holland, I think it was Eindhoven Polytechnic or something like that, who designed this topological optimization computer program to make the hub mechanically very good. And this is the result. Now, I am told that they are onto revision 2 of the 3D printed hub design, but I want to highlight a few things. This hub has failed in quite a strange way. So I'm going to draw a red line there. Now when you get to here, this is actually a bulge. All right. So what that tells you is it's actually compressed that way and that way, the outside material. Now inside this hub, there's usually a bearing like that and another bearing like that, and then a spacer in between, a mechanical spacer. So it tells you that it's moved on its seat, because the likelihood of the bearing and the spacer failing, because there'll be machine components out of bar stock, forge, tube, whatever, the likelihood of them failing is very, very slim. Whereas this 3D hub, you can see the bulge there, so it's compressed there. And if you look at this label, which says Artec, sounds like Artex, which is this shite wall or ceiling covering they used to have in the 90s that was full of asbestos. Actually, it might have been the 80s. But anyway, if you look there, this is actually shifted by an amount. So there's a torsional change there and there. Now, I put this on my Instagram and a load of people say there's no fucking torsion there. Well, how the fuck does it twist, mate? So yeah, if you look even at the E, if you look at the E there and then the E there, you see there's some twist. Now, what do I think of this? First of all, I think if you're stupid enough to buy 3D printed hubs from the marketing, then just look away now, because you just, you know, there's people with spokes saying if they fly out, that's like a dangerous thing because they're not captive. This is a whole different ball game. You're just playing with fire here. I mean, the other thing I wanted to point out is this fucking topological computer program that Eindhoven University, or whoever it is, I'm not even sure it was Eindhoven University, I can't even remember, but the guy went on about it. Look how thin the metal is round there. Now I have somewhere one of these, which is a H-Works hub. This is the gold standard. Sod off DT Swish, you may as well get one of these because it is significantly cheaper and it's better made. If you go and actually measure this, this is the one to get. The wall thickness through there is way thicker, and it's not even, you know, 3D printed than this. This is thin as fuck, paper thin. There we go. Right, this is, I just put this up there. It says 3D printed in Germany. Now I believe the iteration 2 are 3D printed somewhere in the UK. Not sure where, but again, it's the principle of it. Absolute fucking shit. And then look at this. This is the hole from it. So this is the finished product. Look at the state of the hole. That isn't JPEG compressor or anything. That is just shit. I mean, go back here. Look at it. It's just fucking rippled. Stress factor central. Garbage. Right. Now, Cube, recall. Ha! Another bunch of fucking morons. I can't even believe this, right? So they've got some forks which they've had cracks in. Now, a fork is a bit of a big deal because it's not got any real fail-safe mechanism. So if you draw the bike like that, that's the diamond frame. The diamond frame has a bit of fail-safe in it because it's got more than one joint in a few places. So let's say you, for example, were to break that stay, you've still got some redundancy. Okay, it's not going to be brilliant in the chain stay. On the fork, you have absolutely nothing. Okay, if you lose one of the forks, you might say, well, you've got the other fork leg, but it's like an accident waiting to happen, because if you lose the fork, it's likely to collapse. So this one is a stop ride warning, so bear that in mind. Now, if you do live in the UK, because I'm a dab hand with consumer protection, I would stress I'm not a solicitor, but I've been involved so many times. In fact, earlier on this year, do you know I got assaulted doing a bike inspection? Yeah, we'll be explaining that one later. Find out that one. Yes, but yeah, don't like just put up with this with a free fork. Go after them and demand compensation. You will have pretty strong grounds to demand compensation. It has to be reasonable. So if you were to use the bike, let's say, for 2 hours every weekend, you can put a claim in for the loss of enjoyment. Cube will probably kick that back on the first instance, but 2 letters and then the threat of a letter before claim, and they'll usually cave because they know once it gets to the small claims court, they don't really have much use, much chance. Right, this frame, this video, the Canyon German engineering joke video, it is a bit of a joke really, because they have since replaced the guy's frame. So he sent that in for a new bottom bracket. There was a crack in it caused by general German incompetence. German quality control, actually, we'll go with that. Anyway, it was cracked and they've replaced it. They have said they admit no liability, which is a standard clause that I think all of them say, but they're giving me a new bike frame. So just bear that in mind. Consumer protection. I'm always out there looking after you. Now, the tractor, or is it the craptor, or is it the fuctor? The 22% faster Factor 1. So this was on the channel about a week ago where I riffed it and said this 22% claim of it being faster than, was it the SLA? I can't remember what it was, is utter bullshit. Well, Jesse and Chris kind of thought the same thing and then put their video up on the Nero Show. And this guy, David Miller, the convicted doper, here he is again. I cheated by using a TUE, a therapeutic use exemption loophole, right? And there he is, smug as fuck, bragging about it. Anyway, he is one of the brand ambassadors for Craptor, and he sent in this like epic bullshit claim. No, is it bullshit? It's just, it was basically criticizing Jesse's review as being a bit negative. There's some sort of like vocabulary that even me as a pissing 5-year-old doesn't understand. Anachronistic. What the fuck does that mean? Someone must know that. So I've probably got an English teacher in the viewers. Do comment below. I want to know what that means. I haven't been to ChatGPT. If you want to like take the piss out of it, then do. But anyway, this is their faster for everyone, everywhere claim. All this kind of bullshit. It's just utter bullshit. The fact that they've done the 22% faster thing is one thing. Then they've sort of doubled down on it, not admitted anything about the 22% faster. That means if you're on a bike and doing 40 k's per hour, then presumably, if you read the numbers on an SLA, then you will be doing 50 k's per hour on the Factor 1. And that's been, you know, handled by David Miller, drug cheat, brand ambassador. Right, if you've got any questions, comments, remember to hit subscribe and check out my website. Remember to smash some comments in. Patreon for discounts and previews, and remember to enter the Winspace competition. I do look forward to the sort of stuff that people send in. In fact, earlier on this week, I had a package that was sent to me, and it was a tampon with tinsel on it. And it actually read, I'm going to get the paper out. Dear Hambini, please find a tap. Love you lots. Hugh Jardon. Right? There you go, right? I will get that and then put it up on my Instagram so you won't think I was taking the piss. There we go, right? And that's it. Till next time, keep banging your hairdresser, and if not, go fuck yourself. Ciao.